We are here in the assembly area for the final race of the SuperCup Championship at Silverstone. We have Colin here, who was drawn from the reverse grid to go on pole position. Have you got any plans ahead of you?
None whatsoever. Just a bit nervous, if anything, really, because it's uncharted territory, so just going to do my best.
No, you'll be absolutely fine, don't worry about it. So you just hoping to get a good start?
That's it, just get off the line cleanly and just see how it goes from there. No plan.
Oh, well, we wish you the best of luck, Colin.
Well, after the drama of race 2, we're guaranteed excitement in race 3 because we have a partially reversed grid based on the results from race 2, which means that Colin Bysouth is the lucky pole sitter ahead of the reigning champ Luke Herbert. Then it's Johnny Greensmith and James Harris, row 2, Aidan Hills and James Blake Baldwin on row 3, and Jack Harding and Carl Garnett on the 4th row. Will Stevenson and Simon Baldwin round out the top 10 ahead of Sam Tatler and Christian White. Alex King and Darren Stapleton and Steve Roberts one to watch for from the 8th row. Also keep an eye on Gary Townsend trying to further recover from his race 1 incident on the 10th row, and Jack Sycamore should also move forward. Once again, it looks like we've got more or less all of the cars out there, although I do believe we're missing Will Stacey and Richard Wicklin after their sizable race 2 shunt. So the cars ready and waiting to go. Nick Dunn there at the back of the grid. And when green flag waves at the back of the grid, the 5-second board goes out. We are about ready to go. The red lights will go on, and the third and final race of the weekend here from Silverstone is underway now. Who makes the best start from the front row of the grid? Looks fairly even, but you put your money on Herbert. Yes, Herbert gets the lead down towards Copse Corner for the first time. So the reigning champion, car number 1, leads the way. James Harris is second. Jonathan Greensmith slotting through into third, and he'll be really keen to get past Colin Bysouth quickly. And Aidan Hills with a rocket ship start from way back towards the back end of the top 10 is 4th already. James Blake Baldwin is 5th, and James Harris there in 6th place. Blake Baldwin up the inside of Aidan Hills there. Now these two had a bit of a disagreement in race 2. At this very corner, in fact, where James wasn't particularly pleased with the way in which he was overtaken by Aidan, and made that abundantly clear through various hand gestures down the Wellington straight, and those two have resumed battle straight away here in race number 3. But it is going to be the reigning champion that leads the way. It's all shuffling behind though. Greensmith's coming through into 2nd place. Is he going around the outside there of Bysouth through Brooklands, gives him the inside for Luffield, nicely done, and that might open the door for the cars behind to come through as well. Blake Baldwin up the inside of Bysouth just eases the door open. A little bit of blue paint gets transferred onto that black and white livery of Colin Bysouth's car, and it looks like he's going to get through into 3rd place here, James Blake Baldwin, I think. Bysouth fighting back though, and yes, James gesturing for Aidan Hills to push him. Bump drafting, literally pushing each other down the straights, is not uncommon in Mazda MX-5 racing, and he gets the shove from Aidan Hills, but Aidan is not going to get through with him. So up into 3rd position goes James Blake Baldwin, but Aidan Hills is only now making the move for 4th. He prizes the door open on the run down towards Beckett's. He'll be late on the brakes, and Aidan Hills, you would imagine, will move through into 4th position here. There's a gap for Bysouth to slot back in line if he wants to. Aidan Hills is not afraid to push another driver right out to the edge of the track. There's a bit more paint traded as the crocodile wiggles from left to right down the back straight, trying to break the toe. I thought, to be honest, that Luke Herbert might be able to pull a gap here, but Jonathan Greensmith is up for this, and the former Mazda MX-5 champion is starting to close him down again. There goes Jack Harding up the inside of James Harris. Jack Harding in the white and blue car makes his way up through Brooklands and Luffield. And Colin Bysouth, as we may have predicted, is just starting to slip further down the top 10, and it's important for the likes of Aidan Hills and Jack Harding to really make their way past him as quickly as they possibly can. There's James Harris, the black and green number 37 car, but up front, the battle for 2nd place starting to hot up. Look, we've got Johnny Greensmith defending now from James Blake Baldwin, and this is what happened in race 1. Herbert got the lead, in that case from pole position, and then as they started fighting behind him, he was able to pull out a gap. Now, okay, it didn't quite translate into a race victory that time, but that's the plan again today. Here's a replay of the start. You can see it was a clean getaway there from Herbert. He won the race down into Copse Corner, with Johnny Greensmith slotting into 3rd behind Colin Bysouth. This was through Beckett's as well. The rest of the field just starting to stream back through, but the leaders make their way down the Wellington straight, and Greensmith and Blake Baldwin are starting to reel Luke Herbert in again with that slipstream effect down the long straight. Jack Harding makes a big dive up the inside of Aidan Hills. That was a really lovely lunge, and it moves him through into 5th position, so Hills down to 6th. Then James Harris is dicing away with Carl Garnett, I believe that is. Yeah, Carl Garnett, who really started to show some good pace towards the back end of 2017, and he's luckily, it seems, translated that through to the start of this season.
James Blake Baldwin on our screen there, the blue car with the orange flashes, set the fastest lap of the race last time around. Every driver in the top 5 sets the fastest lap this time, and eventually settles with the 5th place car, Jack Harding. So Jack Harding now the fastest car on the track, but all of the top 8 cars lapping within a tenth or so of each other. This is the joy of Mazda MX-5 racing, though. It's so close, there's nothing to choose between the cars, and with such strength in depth in the field again this year, the racing quality has been high from the word go, and that was a brilliant move made there by James Blake Baldwin up the inside of Jonathan Greensmith. He is now, look at that, gesturing furiously, work with me, don't try and race me, push me down the straights, and we can catch Luke Herbert. If we don't work together, Luke is liable to pull off into the distance and we'll never see him again. So James Blake Baldwin, always an exciting driver to watch, because he's always in the thick of the battles, but he's always very keen to let all of the other drivers around him know what he wants them to do, and that's because he knows Mazda MX-5 racing better than most. He knows what it takes to win. There's his stepbrother Simon Baldwin, who had a spin on lap 1 in race 1. That's the other blue and orange car. Had a spin up at Beckett's in race 1 and fought his way right the way back up to, well, he was 13th or so on the road. That then was elevated possibly through some other people getting penalties, but he's on the tail end of the top 10 in 9th place. Rounding out the top 10 at the moment is car number 62, which is William Stevenson, who's just a little bit off the back of this leading group. Having said earlier on that I thought Colin Bysouth might start to fall down the order, I've done him a disservice. I must apologise, because he's actually holding on to that 4th place quite nicely, isn't he? And he's staying in touch with the leaders. Only a second off the lead is Colin in 4th position. This is Carl Gardner. He has now found a way past James Harris, so that's for 7th, but that's just allowed the top 6 cars to break away. So the breakaway group at the front: Luke Herbert, James Blake Baldwin, Jonathan Greensmith, Colin Bysouth, Jack Harding and Aidan Hills. They are the 6 drivers who are looking to try and contest the podium positions between themselves. They're all nose to tail, and now it's a case of trying to dislodge Luke Herbert from the top position, because you can see that he has just got that couple of car lengths extra advantage over the rest of the field. They are doing their best to work together, I believe, to close in on him. Whether they'll be able to make that work, we'll have to wait and see. Nearly 6 minutes have gone by in this 20-minute race. Final outing for the Mazda MX-5 SuperCup this weekend here at Silverstone. They never fail to put on a show, and that's certainly been the case this weekend, both in the damp conditions yesterday and the more favourable conditions this weekend. Nice battle going through here. That is car number 66, which is Sam Tatler, and he is racing away with Christian White. Now, Christian White, car number 28, a former champion in Toyota MR2 racing, and he's made the step over into the Mazda MX-5 SuperCup this year. So this is his first ever weekend racing with the championship, and he's running in 13th place and looking to get 12th place away from Sam Tatler. So good stuff that from Christian White. Leaders, meanwhile, are back down towards Brooklands, and Blake Baldwin, for the first time, is forcing the race leader Luke Herbert to just drive down the middle of the road there into the braking zone at Brooklands, forcing him to think defensively. The more he defends, the less chance he has of pulling out a bit of a gap. Back through Luffield they go, and Colin Bysouth, well, look at this, Colin Bysouth going for 3rd place, looking up the inside. Oh, he gets put onto the grass through Woodcote. Jonathan Greensmith was having none of that, and that really hurt the momentum of Colin Bysouth, and that could allow Jack Harding through. The leaders weaving this way and that way, and Blake Baldwin looks on the inside into Copse Corner. No, not quite close enough, but I don't think he was best pleased with Luke Herbert running him down towards the pit wall then across the start-finish line. Right, how's this all shaken out? This is a replay, first of all, of Greensmith versus Bysouth. Greensmith coming across to try and defend, but Bysouth was there. Colin was alongside and ended up on the grass, lifted off the throttle, and so Jack Harding has gone through into 4th place. Oh, problem for Luke Herbert. Luke Herbert, the race leader. Was that a missed gear, or is that something a bit more sinister? Remember, he had mechanical issues yesterday, and Luke Herbert's car did not accelerate out of Beckett. It seems to be speeding up now, but it's killed his momentum. So now the race is turned on its head. Blake Baldwin leads, Greensmith is 2nd, Jack Harding is 3rd, and then it's side by side for 4th place there between Luke Herbert and Colin Bysouth, and Colin Bysouth is into the back of Jack Harding. He could get another place out of all of this, but Colin Bysouth is not afraid to get stuck in with some of the expected championship contenders. There's more gesturing from drivers in this pack, but that has really hurt Luke Herbert. Luke Herbert, who was leading the race reasonably comfortably up to this point, now crosses the line in 5th. It looked suspiciously like a missed gear. The car just didn't accelerate out of Beckett's, but now it's fully up to speed again, and Luke will be furious. He'll be determined to get back up there. He will not want another race to slip by. See, the car wasn't quick through Beckett's. That's why everyone was running into each other, because they were expecting Luke to accelerate normally out of the corner, and he didn't. Luke already starting the fight back though. Look up the inside of Colin Bysouth. This will be for 4th place. Aidan Hills is there, keen to try and buy into all of this as well if he can. There's trim hanging off the back of Colin Bysouth's car. That car looked immaculate at the start of the race. It's not quite in showroom condition now, is it? As the leaders weave this way and that way very aggressively, trying to break the slipstream. They fan out under braking. Jack Harding looks to the inside. Greensmith looks to the inside. In the end, Blake Baldwin holds on to the lead. Herbert is up into 4th place though, with Bysouth down to 5th. That could become 6th though if Aidan Hills gets up the inside of him, which he does. And Aidan Hills now making his way out of Luffield. He just eases Bysouth out wide, and now the race does start to unravel for Colin Bysouth because Carl Garnett gets past him as well. And is that James Harris next in line? Yes, it is. He could try and launch a move down towards Copse Corner. Simon Baldwin is also now part of this group, so we have the top 9 cars, and you can throw a handkerchief over the lot of them. This is the fight for second between Greensmith and Jack Harding. Oh, and off and possibly into the barriers, unfortunately, is William Sharp. So Will Sharp, one of the Masters drivers, one of the more experienced drivers in the field, and that was just a little over eager on the throttle possibly. And did he make the barriers? Oh, yes, fairly substantially, unfortunately. And that front left corner doesn't look at a healthy angle to me. Will is now stranded on the what is probably still quite wet grass. The rear-wheel drive MX-5 is going nowhere. He requires a bit of assistance from the marshals. That means there will be yellow flags out of the final corner. Not down here, though, where we're heading into Brooklands, and it's all chopping and changing again. Jack Harding had a go up the inside of Jonathan Greensmith, then nearly found himself losing a position to Luke Herbert, and Carl Garnett has got himself ahead of Aidan Hills. So Carl Garnett there, the white, orange and blue number 19 car, is challenging the reigning champion around the outside. This is great stuff, just what we wanted to see. Back out through Woodcote we go. That's where the yellow flags were out, but now green flag racing again down the pit straight. And James Blake Baldwin, dare I say it, is starting to do a Luke Herbert to the field here, isn't he? He's pulling away from this fight for second place. Johnny Greensmith chopping aggressively across the nose there of Jack Harding as they went into Copse Corner. He runs a bit wide on the exit though. Is that allowed? Harding up the inside? No, they're 3 abreast for 3rd. Harding on the inside, Garnett on the outside, and Luke Herbert threads the middle. He's going to gain 1 place out of this, is he? Yes. Beautiful driving that from Luke Herbert. He somehow found a gap in the traffic, but they're all holding each other up on the exit of the corner. Aidan Hills will get back alongside him. Do you remember what I said early on about how the drivers maybe ought to work together? I don't think that's what's happening here. They are side by side again down the Wellington Straight. Greensmith 2nd. Who's going to be 3rd? That's Harding. 4th is still up for discussion because they're 3 abreast again. Colin Bysouth won't die, really. He's determined to get back into this fight, but he just gets eased out a bit wide. So Hills goes 4th. Garnett looking now for 5th up the inside of Luke Herbert, who's thinking, I didn't have things this difficult last year, did I? I think Luke is in for a very, very challenging title defence in 2018. He's racing against drivers that he didn't necessarily see all that much of last season, but that's just what we want to see, the progression of drivers that get more experience in the championship, more experience of the cars, and they work their way further and further towards the front and start fighting the established Mazda MX-5 names. Back out of Copse we go. 1 second is now the lead for Blake Baldwin, so he's broken the toe. This is for second place. Greensmith, Harding, Hills, they're the 3 cars in shot, with Carl Garnett just behind with Luke Herbert up the inside of him. So Herbert going up the inside of Carl Garnett. He is taking no prisoners. He shows Carl Garnett where the edge of the road is. He pushes Carl Garnett over the edge of the road, and that might just be enough to allow him through. Crocodile weaves again underneath the bridge. How long's left in this race? Not long enough, probably. 7 3/4 minutes still to go. And Jack Harding throws one up the inside at the last second. That was always optimistic, I think. And in the end, he has to settle for 3rd. Hills 4th, Herbert 5th. Garnett and Bysouth are side by side again now for 6th. And it looks like Colin on the inside line is going to get that place, is he? Carl Garnett, though, uses all of the road on the exit of the corner and maybe gets himself back through. Now, Luke Herbert up the inside of Aidan Hills. This is, I believe, for 4th place. It's all chopping and changing so quickly, it's hard to keep up. But yes, for 4th place, it's Herbert and Hills side by side. And it looks as though the number 1 car, yes, goes through. And Colin Bysouth now joins in the fun as well, gets up the inside of Aidan Hills. They'll both be a bit slow off the corner as a result. So Carl Garnett, Simon Baldwin, James Harris, they'll all gang up on them down towards Beckett. Herbert's fight back continues now as he gets himself alongside Jack Harding in towards the right hand. Watch out for Aidan Hills, who was coming in at unabated speed there, just about got it slowed down. It's Carl Garnett that's losing out though, because look, Colin Bysouth, Simon Baldwin and now James Harris are all going past him. So unfortunately, Carl Garnett, who had a brief spell in the middle of the race where he was fighting for a podium position, things are just starting to unravel slightly. Towards Brooklands we go, still over a quarter of the race to go, and the positions at the front of the field are far from settled, and it looks as though Greensmith, well, Harding and Herbert and Greensmith all in theory should be fairly equally matched performance wise. This should be a really interesting battle, but it is allowing Blake Baldwin to pull away. He did have a 1.4 second lead, did the race leader. This time through the gap stays at 1.4 seconds, but it might be about to increase, because look at this for second place. Johnny Greensmith is driving ultra defensively, and that's going to hurt Jack Harding, because Luke Herbert comes storming around the outside of him through Copse Corner, and he'll have the momentum down to Beckett's. The trouble is, he's on the outside line. Is there a gap in the inside? Yes, there is. So Herbert goes through, and Aidan Hills now tries to take fourth place away from Jack Harding. Round the outside, round the outside. Oh, Harding slithers out wide, shuffles Aidan Hills out wide with him, and Simon Baldwin looking to try and get both of the Baldwin brothers onto the podium. That would be something. I don't believe that's ever happened before. We'll have to try and find that out for you, but Simon Baldwin is absolutely flying here. He's gone to the outside line where no one else has. Luke Herbert goes to the outside now, gets into the back of Johnny Greensmith slightly. How does this one settle itself out? Greensmith second, Herbert third, Harding fourth, and fifth place for Simon Baldwin. So Aidan Hills is now the one slipping backwards into sixth. Then it's Garnett with Bysouth and James Harris side by side, and Herbert's on the inside of Johnny Greensmith. This is for second place. Luke Herbert, well, this is fantastic stuff from Luke, and if he gets into second place, there's every chance he could still catch the race leader. Down towards Copse Corner to go. He's on the inside. We've got Greensmith on the outside. Jack Harding's trying to follow him through, and does. So 2 places lost for Johnny Greensmith, who goes down from second to fourth place. Breathless stuff as ever it is in the Mazda MX-5 SuperCup, and it ain't over yet, because Luke Herbert will now have his sights set firmly on the number 4 car up the road. 2 seconds is the advantage between Blake Baldwin and Herbert, so over the next few laps we'll watch the lap times with interest to see whether they can catch the race leader, and maybe Luke Herbert can get that race victory that he's been knocking on the door of all weekend long. There is the race leader, Blake Baldwin. There is Herbert. Defensive line there being taken by Jack Harding to try to keep Johnny Greensmith at bay. Will it work? Possibly. Greensmith's going to be forced to the outside line, and indeed decides that that maybe wasn't the best place to be. Then it's Simon Baldwin, Aidan Hills, Carl Garnett, and everybody else filing in behind. Apart from maybe the odd bit of paint being traded and loosened bodywork earlier on, this has been thrilling racing, but more or less hard but fair, I would say. Carl Garnett at the inside of Aidan Hills now, coming across the start-finish line, so this will be for 6th position. The orange and white car on the inside line, I think, will go through as they make their way back through the Copse. Right, this is a battle going on a bit further back. Number 93 is John Stack, so this is outside the top 20. 53 is either Stephen or Ashley Boyles. They're sharing that car this weekend. I believe that's a father-son combo. And number 91, Jack Sycamore, who's off the track in race 1. And as we documented in race 1, wherever you are in the field, there's someone to play with. It doesn't matter whether you're fighting for a win or fighting for 25th place. There will always be action. And that's why the spectators love watching the championship and the drivers love competing in it. This battle for 3rd place again. Jack Harding defending that position. Oh, from Johnny Greensmith, and Jack just caught the curb a bit too hard on the inside there, and it nearly spat the car around. Just under 3 minutes still to go. Colin Bysouth and James Harris there side by side again, coming out of Lovefield Corner. And it will be James Harris who hangs on to the position. Fastest lap, incidentally, was set by Jack Harding earlier on. That's worth a point. He set that well back on lap 3. Is the lead gap coming down? Answer, yes, significantly. It came down by half a second that last time around. So James Blake Baldwin does not have this in the bag yet. If Luke Herbert can get another few tenths of a second closer, he'll pick up a slipstream, and not only will he catch the race lead, but everyone else will as well. So buckle up, because this is another grandstand finish coming up here, I believe. I thought that Luke Herbert would feel he had a point to prove here. He will feel that he's lost 2 golden opportunities to win races this weekend, and he's damned if he's going to let another one slip away here. Down the back straight we go. We've got 2 minutes to go, so 2 more laps, I think, after this one. Can Luke Herbert or anybody else do this and find a way past James Blake Baldwin, who equally had a difficult start to the weekend with a poor qualifying session yesterday, which meant that he started outside of the top 10 for the first 2 races. He raced his way back into contention in both races, but this time he's got a genuine shot at the win. I'd say that gap is coming down though. Let's see, the gap was 1.3 seconds between the top 2, and as we come through to complete lap number 16, what does the timing screen tell us? It's come down by another 7/10, 6/10 of a second the gap. So now Luke Herbert has 2 laps to use the slipstream and try to find a way back through into the race lead. After that issue that he had down at Beckett's earlier on, if he could find his way back onto the top step of the podium, that would be just the fairy tale ending he was hoping for. Down in towards Beckett's is exactly the thing that James Blake Baldwin is hoping doesn't happen, of course, but there's nothing he can do. Herbert has the toe now, and really all that Blake Baldwin can do is prepare himself for the onslaught. He's got Harding and Greensmith coming with him as well. He weaves to the right, tries to break the toe. He weaves back to the left again, trying to break the toe. Herbert keeps the car in a straight line. He's going to be on the brakes as late as possible, and he is with the race leader again. Luke Herbert is back with James Blake Baldwin, and this is going to be a 4-car fight for the podium places as we are about to begin the final lap of the day for the Mazda MX-5 SuperCup. This is what we love about this championship. They provide this sort of action week in, week out, and the Silverstone National layout lends itself perfectly to Mazda MX-5 racing. Across the line they come. 1 more lap to go, and James Blake Baldwin is going to have to defend down towards Copse Corner. To the outside line goes Luke Herbert. He's going to try and get as much speed out. No, he goes around the outside. Luke Herbert goes right around the outside. Blake Baldwin did not see that coming. Where does Jack Harding go in all of this? This could be crucial. He goes with Blake Baldwin, gives him a push down towards Beckett, so James will hold on to the lead. Can Herbert hang on to 2nd place? That now becomes the question. The answer is no. Harding goes through. He's going to get a good run out of the corner as well, so all of a sudden it's Jack Harding, maybe, who could become the biggest challenger to James Blake Baldwin. Luke Herbert fights back again though, down the Wellington Straight, wheel to wheel for 2nd place. Any one of 4 drivers could still win this remarkable race, but it is James Blake Baldwin who leads with 3 corners to go. He gets into Brooklands just about in the lead, does he? Runs a bit wide, Harding on the inside, there's almost a bit of contact, but Blake Baldwin hangs on. More paint is traded, Herbert gets through into 2nd position, and it looks like Harding could even find himself falling off the podium. What a race this has been, and it's all about the run to the checkered flag, because Luke Herbert was quicker out of the final turn than Blake Baldwin. I don't think he's quite going to get there, is he? No, James Blake Baldwin wins the 3rd race of the weekend for the Mazda MX-5 SuperCup by 1/10 of a second. Luke Herbert is 2nd, Jack Harding is 3rd, Johnny Greensmith is 4th, Carl Garnett gets into the top 5 with Aidan Hill 6th, Simon Baldwin 7th, then James Harris, Colin Bysouth, and Steve Roberts gets himself another top 10 position. That wasn't bad at all. That was not bad at all. Fantastic racing from all concerned. James Blake Baldwin, well, what must he have been thinking when he saw Luke Herbert get back through into 2nd place and he saw that gap coming down by 6 or 7/10 of a second a lap? He must have wondered whether he'd be able to hang on, but he did, and he takes the race victory, which means we've had 3 different race winners from the first 3 races of the season. And the good news is this lot are with on the TCR UK package for the full season, so we get to enjoy this all year long.
James, a huge congratulations. You must be on cloud 9 after that.
Yeah, that's a great win really of the first of the season. Blink Motorsport, thanks to them, amazing job on the car. Car feels really, really good. I've probably got some work to do as a driver, but no, it was a great race, great result.
Brilliant. Well, I've just got one question for you. How did you feel when you've seen Luke come up behind you?
It's not a nice feeling. This has been rather stressful. I think, to be honest, I'm going to become a bird watcher or like a train spotter or something next year. So I'm starting to age.
Oh, well, a huge congratulations to us. So Luke, that must have been exhilarating for you. How did you find it?
I tried to make the break from the start from everyone, but they were so much closer this time with the toe. And I think I dropped down to 6th, managed to get back to 2nd, and I hopefully got a fast lap, so I did some pretty quick laps towards the end. Just needed 1 more lap to get James because he was struggling at the end, but you know he's struggling because he hasn't got a toe. But yeah, really exciting race. You know, 2nd feels like 1st. You know, in that field.
Brilliant. Well, after that, we're not surprised how you must be on cloud 9. Well, congratulations from us.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Yeah. Jack, huge congratulations. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's not the result I was hoping for, if I'm honest. We came through, started from 7th, and you know we were looking really, really strong. We did some good moves, and I thought we might be on for the win. But Johnny's just very good at defending and held me off for a good few laps. And the Luke got by, and luckily we managed to get through in a train. Then once we managed to get past Johnny, and we were catching James, and the last lap just ran out of time really. But yeah, I thought I'd had second as well, but Luke went round the outside. James backed us up. Luke let me know where to go, and there was just a bit of contact, and then that was it. I had to settle for third, but a good weekend after all.
So it's been a fantastic weekend of racing here at Silverstone. Best moment of the weekend?
It's got to be that last race. It was nail-biting. Luke just came out of nowhere.
Certainly was. We're going to see more of the same at Knock Hill, surely?
I'm hoping so. It's a home circuit for me, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Fantastic. So join us in the next round of the championship at Knock Hill in a few weeks' time. See you there.